So today is the 6th day of October 2024. It's a Sunday. It's probably getting close to 11 o'clock?
9.
Really? No.
Yeah.
No, it's got to be
9:33.
9:33.
Yeah.
Wow, you're attending closer to the time than me. That's remarkable. So you were just saying once again.
Before we begin.
Well, let's be clear first. I was rude of me. You were going to say something.
The recommendation is before we begin the recording, we discern what it is that we are going to discuss so that we can cogitate for a few moments beforehand.
See, that sounds criminal to me.
Yes.
It's like you're planning your words.
From the guy who says, "Hey, instead of let's walk around the boat, says let's do an ambulatory circulation." What the?
I did not. I said we're gonna do a circumambulation.
Precisely.
Yeah. So just for the audience, we're actually on a mission.
A mission from God.
That goes without saying. We're gonna go pick up a motorcycle right now. I hope. That's
Yeah.
the hope. That's the aim.
And we're gonna drop one off.
Yeah, we're getting rid of the little one. We're getting rid of the toy, and we're getting a real motorcycle. Is how I would characterize it.
So this is important. This component of it. So Cam has had great success with his 2014 GS 1200, and he's been talking about how magnificent this motorcycle has performed, both mechanically and in terms of the joy that it gives him. And as he's put on a lot of miles, what do you do? So the conversation was, well, let's talk about the model that you have. What are the qualities that you like? What are the differences between models in previous and subsequent years? And as we analyzed that, we realized, hey, wait a minute, you have a 2014 that has been absolutely bulletproof?
I don't like the hyperbole. I'll just say highly reliable.
Highly reliable. You've done what major maintenance to it?
I honestly don't remember. I basically have taken it to... I've done nothing personally besides oil changes. I might have changed the brake pads at one point, but I go to Valentine on Aurora there, and they just take care of it for me.
Yeah, and don't ask him what he does between when he drops off the motorcycle and when he picks it up on Aurora, because that's a whole different topic, and there's programs.
There are no words, actually. It's best if you just come see.
Yes. So
let me show you.
What
happens between, what do we call them? Maintenance intervals?
Yeah. So we're going to pick up the same bike because the deductive reasoning is everything about that bike is fantastic. So if you already found something that is working perfectly well, why would you change it? Just go replicate it and expect that you'll have the same experience. So now he's picking up a 2014 with less than 10,000 miles on it, owned by...
I'm not sure it has less than 10.
It does. I might know more about the bike than he
Almost
does.
Certainly.
But the best part about it is we're going out to Bainbridge, and I said, so tell me a little bit about the owner. And the critical component about the owner is, what does he do for a living?
He flies jet airplanes for Alaska Airlines.
So,
or so I've been told. That's the allegedly.
Well, I actually went and tracked him down at your recommendation on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Thank you.
And yes, indeed, he is a pilot with Alaska Airlines.
Nice.
And Cam being a pilot himself, and Clark being a pilot, there is some sort of synchronicity.
You might say.
You might say. So anyway, what is your topic of the day, Cam?
Well, I say this in all seriousness, and then whenever I say in all seriousness, I'm like, am I really capable of being serious? Uh, it's a highly dubious proposition. Mostly just goofing off. Um, you said deductive.
Mm-hmm.
So deduce. That reminds me of Sherlock Holmes. You ever get into the
Oh,
Sherlock Holmes
absolutely.
stories?
Yeah.
Sir Arthur
Conan.
Conan Doyle. That's quite a title.
What is?
Sir Arthur.
It has
Sounds a
this.
bit pretentious.
It kind of like a circumlocutus navigation in an ambulatory manner
Yeah.
around this floating vessel,
Yeah.
or circumambulate. Yes. By the way, I have no idea where I'm going, so you're going to have to direct.
That's easy. I'm pretty good at directing attention.
See, I gave him a layup, and he was supposed to just say, "Well, we know that, but let me tell you where we're going."
So, how much warning would you like?
Enough so that I don't crash.
For you, I'm going to give you about a mile
All right.
of lead time. So, the next intersection, please turn left.
Oh, wow.
So that's instructive. The lead time. Oh, and then the deduction. So deductive. Tell me what you think of this. When I hear deduce, deductive, it's after the fact. Does that sound right?
Well, no. Yes and no. So, deductive takes previous information, analyzes it in current time frame, and therefore postulates a future outcome. So it is actually a what is it that word you like so much? Triumvirate?
Triune.
Triune of past, present, and future. Because I need the previous information, and I have a purpose for aggregating
So you give
that
me
previous.
shit about using a lot of words. I would just say that's inferential.
Okay.
What you're describing is inferential. I infer.
Well, I'm
I fill
sloppy.
in. I know. In inference. That's inferential thinking. Deductive. I submit once again, for the record.
D.
I propose. Don't submit. I don't submit unless I absolutely have to.
Deduce.
Deduct.
Infer.
It's after the fact. So keenly. So Sherlock Holmes, as the story goes, has a keen sense of observation, pays very close attention to the details.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, did you notice what that Mercedes that just turned off to the left had on the dash?
I did not. I was looking at my bank on the right.
So you had all that time to observe, and you didn't even notice that there was a little police car, a little Hot Wheels style police car on the dash of that black Mercedes.
Wow.
That's where I went to Sunday school, right there.
Oh, wow. So he brings me to a circle, doesn't tell me anywhere to go, but I deduced.
Sign language.
I deduced that it would be straight.
I just point with one finger. It's a jigsaw puzzle depicted on the side of that school. Back to deduction. So we can table that if you still want to argue with me, but I'm trying to come up with a word to just keep going straight.
Well, there's a stop sign.
Only when there's pedestrians present. There was also these giant white lines depicting that there's a crosswalk, and I think the small print on the stop sign says when pedestrians present. I could be wrong. That could be bullshit. I might be just making that up. Probably am. So at that flashing four-way stop down there, we want to go left.
All right. So we're moving past deduction. You're using inference.
So deduct. So the back to the extemporaneous speech. So when I say extemporaneous, what does that mean?
To me,
Yeah.
extemporaneous. Huh. Off the top of my head, temporal.
Nice. Yeah, you didn't think about it ahead of time.
Yeah.
You didn't plot.
No.
Yeah. So it's more honest, is what I would say, to speak extemporaneously.
And this is why he doesn't like to prepare his muses.
They're not mine.
Right. They're your gift to humanity.
I hope. I sincerely hope that's true. So at this upcoming stop sign,
I'm going to turn right.
I think you want to go left.
Okay.
I don't really remember for sure. I'm just kind of
Because
following my nose.
if I went left, I probably would have come here by a different route. But
So this is in the flow. So there's this phenomena. So let me see if I can close out on the extemporaneous speech. I'm trying to make a point. So one thing that I do really appreciate is that you keep, like Benjamin, saying, "What's the point, Cam? Bring it to a point. Put a point on it. Can you please anchor your point?" Rather than just wandering around. Because when you're speaking extemporaneously, it is somewhat akin, if not perfectly akin, to the practice of wandering.
So the question becomes, when will you acknowledge that we were supposed to turn right?
Never. So this says Eagle Harbor. And we're going to get to do a loop here, which I love. If I can get to when I'm out on a mission, if I can run a loop rather than backtracking, go stay right.
Interesting.
These are circuitous roads. You notice that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because if we turned left initially once we came off the ferry boat, gone through the downtown section, we would have been on the same road, as opposed to going up to the next light, turning left at that light, and then working our way back. Did you know that?
No, I wasn't paying attention. And that's a filler word.
Now which way?
Straight ahead. We're gonna go all the way to, well, I don't want to put it into the record. I want to be respectful of people's privacy. So at some point here, we'll constrain this game that we're playing right now. And when it comes time, I'll turn the recorder off, and then people won't know where we found the treasure.
Aha!
They will have to, if they really wanted to go retrace our steps, so to speak, they would make deductions from things like the, what do they call it? They put geocodes on the
Yeah. Well, if anybody,
video files.
if any of you are going to backtrack our process, get a life. Trying to track where we went and got the motorcycle is the least.
I feel hurt.
No.
People to try.
Who wants to go find out who the pilot is who sold the motorcycle? He's already sold the motorcycle. We already own it. It's in our garage.
If you say so.
Huh.
So the
We're running out of space in the garage.
No, we just swapped one out.
I know. It's a sad
I
day.
agree, though. A larger, I don't know why you say, how do you say that? Garage?
Garage.
Like, that sounds like carriage.
Oh, it's
Straight
a pretentious way of saying garage. Garage. For the plebeian class, it's garage.
How about just shop?
The shop.
There we go.
Beautiful.
All right. So the point is that
that's a beautiful church.
When you, yeah, there's quite a few of them around. The point is that when you speak extemporaneously,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's necessarily more honest. So, as frustrating as it may be to not be able to be scripted, to define the audience,
Mm-hmm.
the audience are the ones, as far as I'm concerned, that are interested in the most honest speech. That's the audience.
So, this is the tension that we speak of all the time, because I don't disagree with your point at all, and I would then posit that I can still be honest and scripted at the same time. The challenge that I always find with extemporaneous is once I say something and I put it out there, my ego kicks in and says, I already said this. How do
See that
I?
intersection?
Yes.
Turn right.
How do I retract?
Nope, I was wrong.
And therefore, I become reticent. And therefore, I think that the opportunity to consider what I want to talk about and how I want to phrase it first has a value to it in and of itself.
This is the one I'm pretty sure I want to.
So recognizing, as you said, there is an integrity to the extemporaneous, I would suggest that is true. However, that does not mean by having pre-planning, I can't maintain integrity. And I think I get integrity with the benefit of editing so that I don't come across as rambling as I'm trying to formulate my thoughts. When you get a guy like me who's been trained to make noise while he cogitates.
Slow.
Yeah.
Take this right, please.
Very cool.
So
it's beautiful out here.
I hear it, and I was trained that way, to behave that way. And I think I'm really happy that you raised this point right now, because the point is that with this technology right here,
You can edit.
Well, yes, you can always edit. I'm losing the thread though. Bring me back to the thread. The point is,
Extemporaneous versus
we're living in a different world. We're living in a very different world today than that world in which you and I, roughly speaking, got trained to basically script. So it's not to dismiss that at all. That's enormously valuable and essential for, I would say, for now, I'm pretty comfortable saying, for training circumstances, you need to be scripted, because the people have already submitted to be in your presence and speaking.
Mm-hmm. However,
so in those, that's what we're doing. The reality is that for the vast majority of meat bubbles walking around on the planet right now, we're all practicing with these things together.
So I'm going to respond with a I have a proper attribution to Mark Twain, but I'm going to misspeak what he said.
Okay, so hold on. If you're going to quote Mark Twain, that's going to have to be another episode.
No, because it's critical. It's critical. Forgive me for the length of this missive. I didn't have time to be brief. And that was, when he was writing that, it was because he recognized if you took a little extra time, you could edit it out and get rid of all the superfluous content. And therefore, in my mind, in honor to the audience, recognition that time is a limited, most valuable resource, I don't want to waste their time, and therefore pre-scripting is prescriptive to respect. Ooh, that was well done, Sean. I'm impressed with myself on that one.
Yeah, that was quite a bit of recall there, and very eloquent extemporaneous speech, I would say.
Yeah.
This place is so gorgeous.
It is really gorgeous, my God.
Uh, okay, so then.
By the way, sorry, there is great significance to the passage of time.
I missed. You're gonna have to explain that one to me, but later. We're on a mission. We got shit to do today,
God.
so thank you.
Clearly, this guy is a pilot for an airline because we are now have entered the big bucks territory of one of the more affluent islands in the Pacific Northwest to begin with.
Yeah, I don't want to burst your bubble, but I missed a turn a while back.
No shit. I know. I told you when we were supposed to turn right.
Thank you for your very careful attention.